Living abroad is, well, an incredible experience. But let's be real, it can also throw some really tough challenges your way. And one of the hardest? Facing racism in a new country. It can leave you feeling completely alone and just unsure. So today, we're going to build a practical toolkit for safety, for dignity, and for resilience.
So let's just ask the question right out of the gate. It's a situation nobody ever wants to be in. Whether it's some backhanded comment or something way more hostile, the shock can honestly be paralyzing. So, what's the game plan? What are the actual practical steps you can take to protect yourself, both physically and mentally?
Okay, before we get into any of the tactics, I want to put this idea front and center. This is not just a nice, comforting phrase. It's the absolute foundation for everything we're about to talk about. The ugliness you might run into is a reflection of their ignorance, their insecurity. It has absolutely nothing to do with your worth. Let's keep that in mind as we go. So, here's how we're going to break it all down in 4 clear parts. First up, we'll cover what to do right when an incident is happening. Then, we'll look at the steps to take in the hours and days after. Third, we'll get into the crucial part about finding support. And finally, we'll talk about building that long-term resilience.
All right, let's start with the most critical phase, the moment itself. When you're caught off guard, your adrenaline is just pumping, and it's so hard to think straight. The single most important goal here isn't to win an argument or prove a point. It's all about your personal safety. That's it.
So here's the bottom line. Your gut feeling is your best guide. If a situation feels dangerous, guess what? It is. Don't ever second-guess that feeling. The goal is to de-escalate. Get yourself out of there, go somewhere public, somewhere with other people around. Nothing is worth risking your physical safety. Now this here is a critical decision point. You always have a choice, and you are never obligated to respond to every ignorant comment that comes your way. If someone is clearly just looking for a fight, or they're obviously not in a state for a rational talk, the smartest, strongest move is to just walk away. But if you feel safe and you want to set a clear boundary, a calm, firm response can be the right move. And if you do choose to respond, the key is to be brief and firm. Something like, "That's not acceptable," isn't an invitation for a debate. Nope. It's a clear statement. It draws a line in the sand. You're communicating that you won't accept disrespect. And then you move on.
I really want to emphasize this point. Choosing to walk away, choosing silence, that takes incredible strength and self-control. It is a strategic decision you are making for your own well-being. It is not defeat. It is a powerful act of self-preservation. Okay, you've removed yourself from the immediate situation, you're safe, so what now? Well, if the incident was serious, especially if it's affecting your job, your housing, or your safety, it might be time to think about taking formal action. If you do decide to report something, details are your absolute best friend. As soon as you possibly can, write down everything you remember. What was said, who was there. The more specific you are, the stronger your report is going to be. This isn't about dwelling on it, it's about creating a solid factual record. And knowing where to report is half the battle. The right channel really depends on the context. So, for example, if something happens at work, you'd probably go to HR. At a university, you could contact the International Student Office, and for any public threats, involving the local police might be the necessary step. Let's just be crystal clear about this. Sometimes there's this feeling of not wanting to make a fuss or cause trouble, but reporting a racist incident isn't complaining. It's asserting your right to be treated with dignity and to be safe. Plus, it helps institutions track what's going on and hopefully create safer environments for everybody.
We've covered the practical steps, but the emotional and mental toll of racism, that can be the heaviest part of it all. This is something you should never, ever have to carry by yourself. So this third step is all about actively seeking out and building your support system.
Racism really thrives on making you feel isolated. It wants you to feel alone. So the antidote is community. Reach out to your friends, find local expat groups or groups from your home country. Just talking about what happened with someone who gets it can make a world of difference. The most important thing is this: do not let this become a silent burden.
And here we are with another powerful reminder. Let this one really sink in for a moment. The poison of prejudice is designed to make you question yourself. This statement right here, that's your shield. Their opinion is a reflection of their own messed up views, not a judgment on your value as a human being.
Protecting your mental health is an active process. It means consciously rejecting the stereotypes that get thrown at you. It means stepping away from those social media rabbit holes that just feed you more fear and anger. It's about actively reminding yourself of your strengths, your accomplishments, and your inherent worth. All right, we've dealt with the moment, the aftermath, and our mental well-being. So now let's turn to our final section, building a long-term strategy for empowerment. This is all about how we can transform a painful experience into a source of strength.
This is so important. It is way too easy to let one awful interaction completely poison your view of an entire country. But it is vital to remember that one ignorant person does not speak for millions. Holding on to that perspective keeps bitterness from taking over and lets you keep appreciating all the good people and experiences around you.
I love this chart because it shows exactly how knowledge becomes power. I mean, look at the connection between the action and the outcome. For instance, you learn some basic local laws, and boom, you know how to protect yourself. These are proactive steps that boost your confidence and your sense of control, making you feel much more empowered in your new home.
Never, ever forget this. It takes a massive amount of courage to leave your home, to learn a new culture, to build a whole new life somewhere else. That experience doesn't make you less than. It makes you more adaptable, more resilient, and frankly, braver than most people. Own that. And here we are, full circle, right back to our foundational truth. If you take only one thing away from all of this today, let it be this. This is your anchor. The problem is not and never was with you. It's with the prejudice you faced. Your value is and always will be completely intact.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Safety is the baseline. It's the absolute non-negotiable. But beyond that, how do we use these challenges to become not just survivors, but braver, wiser, and more compassionate global citizens? How do we build lives that aren't defined by a fear of prejudice, but by the courage to connect across any border?